Hey everybody, it's Ben Sunset Speedway. I'm here with Courtney and Jerry from Motorsport Alley doing our recording today. Can't wait to get into another great race season this year. This winter's been way too long for us already. We're just doing some prep to get everything ready for the year this year. We've had a few fan questions asked over the off season through Facebook. We're going to do more of these videos, so if you have any questions that you want answered, feel free to message myself, Courtney Wright, or the Facebook page for Sunset Speedway, and we'll try and get through as many as we can through more of these videos. The first one we're going to start with today is what happens on a Saturday morning when we show up before the racing starts.
So normally we get here, Ben, Brian, myself, around 8 or 9 a.m., depending what time the gates open, for our very important staff meeting. It tends to be the three of us. We sit, we go over everything that's going to happen for the day, any hurdles we might face, talk about touring groups, but the most important part of that meeting, to be honest, is we order breakfast from Stacked in Innisfil. Food's always fantastic and gives us energy to make through the day with. Once that's done, Brian tends to start blowing the track, blowing the pits, getting it ready for the drivers. Ben will start going over the vehicles, doing the last minute check, make sure they have enough fuel, make air in the tires, they're ready to go. I'll start setting up tech, do my tire inventory. Any last minute errands that we need, things we realize we're out of, as much as you can go over that during the week 100 times until you set it up on a Saturday. That's when you see the little things that got missed, that gets forgotten, and over that. All the concessions also needed to be set up. So on a hot day, the ice cream and slushie need to be turned on nice and early to compete with the heat because we know they're going to sell out. The grills, so by the time everybody rolls in, there's hot dogs, hamburgers, fries are all ready to go. We repeatedly check the weather, especially if there's a cloud in the sky. We will watch it between the three of us. One of us checks every 15, 20 minutes. And you know they're forecasting for rain because all of our cell phones go off. You can just hear it rotate between the three of us of people trying to figure out if we've made a call. And we've probably normally already discussed it 100 times because we want to make that call as early as possible, catch everybody before they're already here, but also don't want to call it if it looks like the weather's going to miss us. From there, we'll get sponsors that come in if they set up the 50-50 draw, or if, like when NTN sets up their booth, we help get them set up. And by then, Sandra has rolled in and everybody for the back gate. So going over with them, make sure they have what they need, trying to steal back the golf cart from Sandra that she took because she always takes the good one. And all of that is assuming it isn't touring groups coming in because that changes up our morning. They're also in not too long after we are, and we need to get them set up, but also have all of our stuff done beforehand. And all of that is before the first car rolls in. So at 2 a.m. when we're yelling at you over the loudspeaker to stop drinking beer so we can go home, it's not because we don't want to hang out and we don't want to have a drink with you. It's because we've been here since 9 a.m. and all of us are ready for bed. So I guess that's about it for Saturday before we come in.
Yeah, pretty much. That pretty well talked on all the points we usually get through.
The next question that we saw a lot of is, if you're looking to get into racing, what's it cost? And for that, I'm going to count on Ben.
So, as Courtney just said, we've had a lot of people ask the average cost of getting into racing. It really depends on what class you're going into and if you can do the work yourself. So, to start off, for example, say in a bone stock, you can pick up a car for $500, $600, $700. After that, though, there's a lot of work that's got to go into the car. You've got to put a roll cage in it. You've got to get the proper seat. You've got to get the proper belts, all the proper safety equipment. For example, roll cage this year is really hard to look at prices because of fluctuating prices on steel and materials. From what I've seen, they start off about $700 for a 4-cylinder cage, but can go well into the thousands from there. Safety equipment such as fire suit, helmet, Hans device, proper seat belts, you're well into low grade $1,000. You could, sky's the limit for safety equipment. From what I've seen and put together, mini stocks, you could get into a starter grade mini stock for anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000. Once you start going up into the higher classes such as super stock, limited light, pro late, realistically, super stock and late models start $15,000 to $20,000 for a good used one, or if you can find a brand new limited late, they're probably in the 20 to 25 range. Pro lates, you could be anywhere from $30,000 for a used one to well over $100,000 for a brand new built one. Another question that we've been asked a few times has been, what made Brian and Sandra get into this industry, and what made them pick Sunset Speedway?
So I don't know if everybody knows, but Sunset used to be Sunset International Speedway. It was bought by an owners group in 2009 for something different to do on the weekends. It was fun, it was enjoyable. There was a few of them that were into racing and just wanted to explore. From there, Brian and Sandra got hooked. They told us they fell in love with it, and come on, all of us are pretty lovable and easy to get along with. So in 2016, they bought the business itself, and that's when it changed to Sunset Speedway. When we asked them about it, they told us they stayed with it because it's the energy in the pits, it's knowing the fans, the drivers, and as anyone who's in racing knows, it's addictive. Once it's in your blood, that's it, and you're hooked. And luckily for all of us, Brian and Sandra got hooked, and yeah, we'll be sticking with them for a while now.
One thing that Brian and Sandra both said to me was they got into this as a business venture when they bought out the business of Sunset Speedway in 2016 on their own. It was because of the relationships they've made. They can't believe the people they've met through the industry, whether it's sponsors, drivers, crew, staff, going to other tracks, the friendships they've made. They said they just never thought it would be what it is. They just love everything about the place and want to continue to make it bigger and better.
So one of the other questions we got asked that definitely caught my attention, and in theory would be an amazing night to do, is why doesn't Sunset do a tribute night? All the drivers pick their reason for getting in, the driver they're connected with, an old driver they loved, and do a large race. In theory, that would be an absolutely fantastic night to see the look of those iconic cars back on the track, even if it was on a newer bodied car. The issue coming into that would be figuring out what class to do it in, because so many drivers would have different people and they'd all range in different classes, and not something we could get to happen across every class. And a lot of the drivers, or all of the drivers, spend a lot of time and money on getting their image right, their wrap, making sure all their sponsors are represented, that unfortunately the expense for one night to wrap their cars to have that iconic look is just something that financially wouldn't be feasible. I think those were the top questions.
To touch on that last point that Courtney had about the historical icons, or however you want to word it, cars. We do have Oscar coming a couple times this year with their Hot Rod series. A lot of drivers in that class have built cars to emulate drivers and cars from the era when they grew up. I believe those cars are 1974 and older, so a lot of those cars are based on what people grew up seeing racing, and personally I think it's a great class to see come back, and it grows bigger and bigger every year.
So I feel like at the end of the video we're supposed to say something, but do you remember what it is?
Thanks for watching.